Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I've been super stoked to bring you this episode, the awesome conversation with legitimately a really good friend of mine, Brian Kelly. He's over on the left coast. I probably picked this guy's brain more than most others that are in the business of helping others level up, because that's exactly what my good friend Brian does. You know, entrepreneurs hire Brian to reach their peak because most do not stand out in the marketplace and fail to attract a steady stream of ideal clients, which we know is key. So he helps them reveal their personal and unique massive exposure machine, free up their time, and create a steady stream of revenue, which we all love. And the bottom line is he helps entrepreneurs establish high-value relationships that will result in high-end connections and joint venture partnerships within 12 months, guaranteed. He's like the Joe Namath out there of making the guarantees. My guy here, BK, Brian Kelly. And Brian, thanks for coming on the show. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Whoa. Well, I guess I'd have to say blue because I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah, and it's in your color wheel, you handsome devil. No, seriously, squad, Brian and I are good friends, and he's someone I respect immensely. And Brian, I'd like to get to kind of a little bit of your background and roots that got you to the point now where you help people launch into the stratosphere, my friend.
Yeah, I started out as a corporate employee, as many can relate, I'm sure. And I'll make it real brief. When I was a kid at junior high level, around 12 years old, I had a great childhood. I have nothing bad to say about it. But there was this thing coming out, this movie, and the buzz was everywhere. There was no internet back then, so it was just word of mouth and marketing on TV. And all my buddies are talking about it. So I ran home, and it's time for the movie. I said, Dad, can I have a ticket? Can I have a ticket? And he looks down and he said, sorry, son, we can't afford it. And until that moment, I did not realize that my family that I had been born into did not have much money. And at that moment, I realized I would never be in that position for my family. And it's not just about money. It's the feelings that go with it and the disappointment. And I love my parents to death. I mean, I've always have, and that had no impact on that. But that was my driving force. I've always been driven and competitive, but that really took me over the top. And I said, I just dedicated my drive and my life to excelling, not only for myself, more importantly for my family, and now also for anyone I come into contact with. I just love helping people. I'm wired that way.
You don't meet strangers. I mean, when we first met, I felt like I've known you forever, man. And so you made this, I get maybe a pact with yourself that you don't want to ever not be able to afford something, or if your kids need to afford something, that if it makes sense without making them feel entitled, that you can do it for them. What did you ever face as you kind of growing into this, any kind of imposter syndrome? Because you and I literally, we're 7 years apart, BK, but it's like I had the same thing. My dad worked on the line at General Motors. There was a lot of no's coming out of his mouth when I asked for something, right? And luckily I had friends and support system that were like, dude, Fergie, you can be what you want, this. But as I started to grow, I just felt like I really wasn't meant to be there. Did you ever cross those paths at all?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I think that's normal, and it's interesting when you're first starting out, trying to free yourself. Like in my case of corporate, you're going through that scarcity mindset all over again, and you just want to make a sale. For nothing more than to boost your confidence.
Sure.
And I think everyone goes through that, and it's a part of the process. And the cool thing is, the sooner you can get out of that mindset, the better, though. The sooner you can get into the attitude of serving versus the attitude of, I just want to make a sale or I just need to make some money. The sooner you can do that, then that's when things start to take off and blossom. Because that's you to a person, to a core. And before, like you said, it's more of an imposter syndrome because you truly aren't acting the way you normally would if all the circumstances were, quote unquote, in your favor at that moment.
Absolutely. And you just mentioned attitude of serving, and that's, we had Time to Shine Today. We're saying, give until it hurts so good, right? And we do that, throw a little John Mellencamp in there, right? But how important is it to be open to reciprocation while you're giving?
To be open to it, it's very important.
Okay.
Here's my philosophy, though. I teach this and train it. I always say, give without the expectation of receiving anything in return. It will happen, and it does happen. And I say, beware, because you may fall into the trap of now doing it for returns. And so you have to be alert and aware of what's going on in your mind. This is my opinion.
Sure.
And just go at it with no expectations in return. But when they do come, yes, openly receive them and be grateful for them, because it's a two-way street.
Sure.
And you're telling your mind it's okay to excel and to succeed. And everyone needs that, especially for someone like you, Scott. I want you to get as exceedingly wealthy as you possibly can. And why do I say that? And I truly mean this. And that is because I know that Scott Ferguson will take that money, scale his business, and serve more people.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I mentor as well. I feel that the more you mentor, the more immortal you become, right? And you're going to give, and keep going. And so with that being said, like the open to reciprocation doesn't have to come as a monetary value. I mean, like I have this plant that sits here. It's the only plant I can keep in my house and my cats don't try to eat. But I know that when I breathe in oxygen, I breathe out that carbon monoxide, and that plant's doing the exact same opposite thing. And it's breathing in the carbon monoxide and giving me that oxygen. And it doesn't come to you always in monetary, right? It might just be a phone call from an old friend, but be actually aware for that, right? Just to be like, hey, okay, I love it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. It's not just monetary or financial.
Right.
It's anything. And I get more joy out of helping someone than I do out of receiving money. I just said that out loud, but I do. And that's what drives me. Money to me is a vehicle for liberation.
Yes.
A vehicle to give me the freedom to do what I want when I want more often. A lot of people say I get to do what I want whenever I want. It's like, no, you don't. You have to still make appointments for things with the doctor. You got to show up, and you don't have total freedom, but you have a lot more freedom in the choices that you make every single day. When you're going to take vacation, how long?
Thank you. Yes.
All of these things.
Money doesn't buy nothing except choices, man. You just nailed it on the head. It gives you the choice to do things, and like you said, you're still tied down to obligations. So, thank you for saying that. So, Brian, when you're starting to work with these companies, right, or even individuals, and they kind of come into your family, which Squatty has an awesome giveaway at the end. So stay tuned. So, as you're starting to bring them in, is there any part of your secret sauce, if you don't mind sharing, to maybe help them find their blind spots? That imposter syndrome, or not worth, not net worth, but not worth. Is there any good process that you use, protocol, to help them find their blind spots?
I don't know if I'd call it a protocol or a process. It's kind of instinct, but the instinct was built on experience from working with so many people. It's funny that it's so much easier for me, and I think you can relate to this, Scott, to help someone else in their business than it is for me to figure out my own.
That's why I hire coaches, dude.
Yes.
I freaking love that. I love that you said that. So how about when people are coming in and maybe you're in that discovery period with them, and your instincts are firing away? Is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Wow, that's a great one. I don't, that's interesting. The first thought I had was, I don't think about myself during these calls, and I mean that. I'm not being like this Johnny do-gooder.
No.
I don't have anything that comes up to my mind, Scott, at all.
No problem. No problem. I mean, if I was working with you, I'd probably ask, like, basically for your story and how you got and why you feel that you can help me. But that's me. And that's what, like you say, instincts build experience, right? Or it comes from experience. And that's me. But a lot of people, they don't know what to ask of their coach or their consultant and stuff like that. That's why I just like to throw that question out there just a little bit. So what do you think then, Brian, are your strengths?
Oh my goodness. Strengths are attention to detail. Yep. The absolute desire, it has to be the highest quality, or I won't let it out of my fingertips. It won't go out. I do make mistakes. That being said, I have let emails go that have someone's wrong first name on it, things like that. Which is embarrassing.
I have a story on that. I built a whole podcast for a big player, and I spelled her freaking name wrong on all the links, dude. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I
done that.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing is the attention to detail. The intent is more important than the result, than the actual outcome, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So, a lot of people, if you mess up, they'll come back and they'll be upset with you, and that's okay. That's a natural reaction until you alert them of, well, my intent was this. I apologize. I made a mistake. If they are still upset, then I want nothing more to do with them. because I
Absolutely.
know what my intent was.
Yes.
And if my intent was pure and I didn't mean to make that mistake, and I really didn't, and most often I don't, and they're like, oh, okay, no worries, no problem. Then I'm like, okay, good, let's move
Right.
on.
Those are the people
I
you
think
want to
intent
align
is
with.
more important. Pardon?
Those are the people you want to align with for sure.
Yeah,
You know? Okay.
we as humans are too fast to judge. I am a human too, and I judge, and
Mhm.
I will make that initial like, "Geez, what was that all about?" And then I have a chat with them. Oh, we're cool, you know.
Right.
And so it's like it's again, like you said, it's about choice. It's like you have a choice how you react to every situation and every moment of your life,
Yeah.
and getting upset is just one of those habits that I don't like to go to because it just brings me down, and
Right.
I don't think it's good for I just don't think it's good for me to do
Right.
it. I do get upset on occasion. I'm human, but
Right.
I just I practice and I'm alert and aware when these times happen, the negative emotions, and just say, this isn't serving me, and it's certainly not going to serve them. So just get over it and move on.
I love that you say that. Like my coach has me because I am a recovering narcissist and I am okay with admitting that now, man. Because I was so driven because of the imposter syndrome. It was like, I'm gonna serve people. Yeah, 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 but I'm gonna be about me too. But my coach since 2011 is, I have to repeat the mantra, humbly seek to understand before responding and never reacting. So
Mm.
I have to say that 50 times a day since then. And it's really, I'm still recovering, man, because you can ask my lady. I have some tendencies that still will spark up every once in a while, but I appreciate you saying that. And that's one of my weaknesses. Brian, what would be a weakness that you have?
Impatience.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm uh I'm one of those ready, fire, aim kind of people, and
Right.
sometimes that gets me into trouble where I'm a software engineer from days gone by, or I used to do software engineering. I don't want to identify with anything. I am not a software engineer, but I used to do it, and I would do everything in my power to get to the result as fast as I possibly could.
Right.
And sometimes that would cause mistakes and things, and so I don't I don't tend to write things down as I go along. I'm not a big note taker when I'm doing work. I just figure it out as I go along, and it's
Sure.
worked for me for decades. It's just if I were to call it a weakness, that would be one, is just lack of patience to get anything done. I think that's a common trait in many people, but that's probably one of the biggest ones for me.
No, I love that you appreciate being transparent about that too and acknowledging it because I'm the same way. And that's how something might go out misspelled because I'm in such a hurry to get something out and serve that it kind of hands back. So, what was the movie, by the way, that you couldn't get the ticket to?
Yes, Star Wars, baby.
Really? That was a
Yeah,
major movie, man.
it
That's a
was.
game changer. It was a
So
game
I would
changer.
go back to school after it came out, and I'm hearing all of my classmates talking a different language. They're saying stuff like C3PO and R2D2 and Baka, and I'm like, what are you guys? And I'm just like, my God, I didn't get to see it. I don't know how long it was before I finally got to see it. By then, it was
Wow.
old news, and
Right.
it really sunk in deep. And it wasn't just because I missed them; it was the whole experience that I missed, and it was
Yeah.
all because we didn't have a few dollars for a ticket back then. It didn't cost that much,
Right. Yeah, let me ask you something. Just curious. I'm going way off base here, but did you go in 1997 to see it on the big screen on the 20th anniversary?
I no, I
No,
don't get into yeah.
I
I'm not.
did that. I went to. I was 5 years old then. I went to the drive-in with my mom. It was the
Oh
coolest thing
yeah,
ever.
good
And
old
then
driving.
yeah, and then but when I went when I got out of the Navy. Literally, we went and watched the on the big screen again in '97, the 20th anniversary. So speaking of movies, have you seen Back to the Future?
Yeah, I did.
All right, let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly. Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Brian Kelly. Okay,
Woo.
what kind of knowledge nuggets would you drop on Brian that will maybe help him shorten his learning curve, last through, and level up just a little bit? Not so much change anything, but maybe shorten that learning curve just a little bit.
Get help. Like get a mentor, get a coach, get multiple mentors. Be accepting of assistance. Seek assistance. When you're a 22-year-old male, it's all about you. It's ego, baby. Yeah, I got this. I can
Yeah,
do this. And guess what? Every one of us can do it.
right,
It's just how long do you want to spend getting to that end result? Versus if you got help, you take the shortcut. Do you want to take 10 years or do you want to take 2 years? It's here we go. It's a choice. We get back to
right.
that again. But it's
Love it.
ego. It's work on the ego and mindset at age 22. Oh man, At
Yeah.
age 47 is when I learned the importance of mindset, became NLP certified. It literally changed my life. And I don't say that, I've never said that until I went through that. I'm not a big drama person.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, NLP mindset was huge, and it's changed my life for the better.
Yeah.
And I'm a believer, so I'm a Christian. That's my number one.
Me
So,
too.
so it's like it was like being born again, but in human form, if that makes sense.
I love it. I love it. And it's like you hear that squad, he's basically telling you, get your asking gear, ask for help, be open for it, and put into action what you're asking. It will shorten that learning curve a little bit and make things easier on you, no matter what age you're at. I mean, I get my asking gear on a daily basis, squad. So, Brian, how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and your death date, which hopefully it's a long ways down the road. But how do you want your dash remembered?
Just as somebody who loved to help people, and it was open arms for anyone who wanted help or needed help. I'm not a big person on what is my legacy to humans that are left after I'm gone.
Right.
I'm more about what does my Lord and Savior think, and
Yes.
did I do a good job. I'm not worried about what people think, although it will be, it can impact how they go forward if there's anything left of me where they can see, evidence and they actually read it or absorb the information, and it does help them, then good. But if it's just, what legacy do you want to leave? And it only matters if people actually take action on your experience, either good or bad, and learn from it and make the choices that are better than the ones you made.
I got to tell you, man, like you legitly are planting trees that you're never going to sit in the shade of, brother. I'm going to tell you right now. And that's my compliment. It's the biggest compliment I can really pay to people, because you're leaving that legacy, whether it's important to you or not, it's already being done, brother. So I appreciate that. So, Brian, what keeps you up at night?
Lots of stuff. I got lots of personal stuff going on now, but as far as a regular, gosh, I wake up sometimes thinking, oh my gosh, did I get that last thing done properly that I was going to do in the day?
Me too.
Yeah, it's like, and it's usually like, well, did I set that up properly? I've got a client that's got a show coming up. Did I have everything set up? Did I make sure my team was prepared? It's the little details that I just wake up and go, those little things that would gnaw at me.
Right.
It's nothing big. It's just the day-to-day stuff. And then there's so much that goes on every day, no matter how much you put it on your calendar and you write in notes. I do take notes during the day for stuff like that.
Sure.
There's still things that get missed. I've got my calendar is so filled these days. And I get shocked, like, oh my gosh, I do have another appointment coming up, and but that kind of stuff too is like, oh my gosh, how early do I need to get up this morning? Do I have an appointment? I forgot.
I'm right there with you, man. So, what do you think people misunderstand the most about you?
My intent sometimes. Okay. I'm a as you can tell, very fast talker. I'm kind of a large frame, 6'2". I'm getting heavier by the moment. I'm getting shape. I need to get on the trampoline, but like somebody I know. But I come off as some kind of aggressive. I mean, I literally, Scott, I couldn't believe this. One time I went into a gentleman's office to help them with their automation. And he's a marketer, social media marketer. And it was a young lady that was taking care of all of his automation. And I stood there, and she was in a cubicle, and we worked for, 5 hours. And as I was leaving, she shared with me that when I first got there, I intimidated her. And that shook me to the core. I've heard it a couple times from guys, and it's not, but from a woman, that is the last thing on earth. I don't want to intimidate anybody, let's be clear, male or female. But to come off to a woman, I'm like, what?
Right.
I see myself as pretty happy-go-lucky, gentle, but sometimes my persona is overbearing, I guess, and it intimidates people, and it shook me. I never forget that. I'm like, what did I do to intimidate? She goes, "You're just big." I'm like, I can't help that.
Dude, I'm like you. I'm 6'1". I'm 255. I'm pretty well put together. And I had that. So the way I combat it is I smile wide and I give hugs. I'm from the Midwest, and I just walk up to people. I give them that little side hug, so they know I'm not trying to go in for a real one. But I do it, man. The hugs like melts a lot of people. I get that too, like Fergie, man. Oh my gosh, you walk in and I could be too much, and so that's where people misunderstand me about as well. So Brian, let's take out of this equation this question: anything electronic. Whether it's phone, iPad, whatever you use to run your life, and also any of the gravity, air, water. Like, what are 3 things that Brian can't live without?
My wife.
Love it.
My kids.
Love it.
People like you. I live
connection, right?
Yeah, I live to talk with other entrepreneurs because I have my own show. We talk to entrepreneurs from all over the world, and it's like that every time, Scott. You talked about like it's like we've known each other forever after 2 seconds of seeing each other and talking. And
it is.
That's what keeps me going. I love what I get to do, and I love being a host. I love being a guest.
Yeah.
I love meeting wonderful people. I've gone to so many seminars and conventions and things like that, and it's funny. You go there, like. I may be meeting you soon, I hope, in Florida.
Absolutely.
Gosh, I gotta look at that. But the thing is, I land, I go into the hotel, there's people milling about before we even go in the door, and I just feel I am with family. I feel at home because there's that can-do vibe. There's a positive, it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that feeds me.
Yeah, connection's everything, man. And it's funny, during COVID, we had to find new ways to connect, but I probably wouldn't have even met you if it wasn't for COVID. For me, that's a blessing. So, yes. Ryan, what is your what is your definition of a life well lived?
I've left it all on the table. I've given it all. I've given everything I can to make life better for other people.
Love that, Brian. Love it. So, squad, we are going to take my good friend Brian Kelly through our leveling up lightning round just as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors and affiliates. Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. We are back. And Brian, you and I will one day talk probably an hour on each one of these questions. You have 5 seconds with 0 explanations. We got a little bell that we're going to ring. I'm just kidding. But seriously, 5 seconds, 0 explanations. You ready to level up?
I'm ready, baby.
Let's do it. What is the best leveling up advice Brian's ever received?
Never give up.
Beautiful. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Consistency.
Love it. Probably prayer too with you, I bet. Without a doubt. So you see me walking down the street, you're like, man, Fergie, he looks like he's in his doldrums a little bit. Other than the good book, what book might you hand me to level me up? But you have a hell of a library, brother.
Yeah.
But quickly, come on, give me that book.
Let's say Thought Conditioners, Norman Vincent Peale. I got it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. What's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
Smile.
Love it. Nicknames growing up?
Johnny Be Good.
I love it. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Chess.
Beautiful. Wow. Smarty pants. All right. So what's your go-to ice cream flavor?
I'm not an ice cream. I'm going to say vanilla.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So there's a sandwich called the BK, the Kelly. What's on that sandwich, brother?
Nothing but health and no bread, baby.
It's no fun, but I get it. So if you could take, you have access to a time machine for one day. You go 50 years into the future or 50 years in the past or any time in the past. Spend one day. What are you going to do?
Future, baby.
Me too. I'd like to just kind of see it play out too, especially if it's past the time where I'm biologically going to be gone. I'd really like to see what's going on. What's your favorite charity and organization you like to give your time or money to?
Oh my, that's brutal. There's so much that's going on with at this moment, the one that I would have said, I honestly don't have one because it gets too deep. I couldn't say it in 5 seconds.
Okay. You want to give just a gist of it?
It's around the fact that my wife has breast cancer and what I've learned of organizations under the hood.
Okay.
The people that work in them and operate them, as they are wonderful people, but the reason for them and what they're doing, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that I've learned. That's all.
Understand. And the last question, you can elaborate a little bit on this one, but what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
80s.
My man, big hair, don't care. Love it. So, Brian, let's dig into your business and what you're offering today, man. How can we find you, Brian?
I love to put on what I call a master class. It's an advanced live video master class where I help people to understand all the nuances that go behind a live video show, which is very, very similar to a podcast, because a podcast is an audio version only, technically, that's usually recorded. With live video, you have more touch points. So I teach about the things that a lot of people don't realize. There are myths about it, about how to monetize. There are myths about how to get likes and loves and downloads and how important that is to them and all that. And I like to peel back the onion and show them, look, it takes a lot more than most people realize and a lot more perseverance. You have to be consistent. It's like it needs to be part of your existence of your business if you're going to do it. So I like to teach on that because I've been doing live video for, since it's been over 10 years. I haven't been doing it for 10 years. Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, and I've learned a lot. I don't know everything. I never will. But I get to talk to wonderful people like you who are podcast masters, and I learn things from people like you and implement them and integrate them into my teaching going forward to help people, again, get to the finish line faster, but with higher quality. It's about, I hear this thing all the time, it's better to work smarter, not harder. And I disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Okay.
I disagree with it half-heartedly. I say you want to work smarter and harder. There is no easy street. If you take your foot off the gas pedal, then even if you're working smarter, feel better for a little while, but long term, I think you're going to find that your business is going to suffer a bit if you take that kind of mantra and ingrain it into your mind and into your culture of your business and your team.
Love it. I love it. And squad, it'll be in the show notes below. Actually, we'll put it on the first line down there. If you go to timetoshinetoday.com/RYP, again, that's timetoshinetoday.com/RYP for Reach Your Peak. There will be the advanced live video masterclass that Brian teaches. It's fantastic. And I got to tell you, also, I'm going to put in the show notes, squad, is where Brian interviewed me, and he interviewed me live. And it was funny. It was a fun, interactive. He let me get my jam on, but he would throw in these like little knowledge bombs and airplanes flying across the screen. And it was just so fun. And I've watched it, and all of the people that I'm aligned with, like, Fergie, man, you've got to do that too. Okay. Like, you need to get out there and do this. So luckily I connected with someone like Brian to do this, and so can you be. So if you're really looking to level up and get that part of your business, ramped up, then please go to that link, or let me make a personal introduction to Brian as well. And Brian, like, what if I'm in a room and I'm doing what my mentors tell me with, 2 ears and one mouth, I'm shutting up, I'm listening, what kind of things am I hearing that would make a great prospect introduction connection for you?
I'm looking to gain more exposure for my business. I'm looking to gain more exposure for my brand, or even just myself.
Yes, I love it.
I always preach that my show is not my business. It is not for the purpose of making or building business. It results in it, but my focus and intent is not to build a business because of the show's existence. It's like writing a book. If you write a book on a subject, it doesn't necessarily have to be about your business, and it probably shouldn't be, because you're going to end up putting in URLs and website addresses that will no longer exist 5 years from now. People go to them. I've been down that road. So it's about getting massive exposure. It's about building your platform. So yeah, it'd be somebody that says, no one knows who I am.
Love it.
I can't get anybody to recognize who I am. And with what I teach, and that masterclass, by the way, is 100% free, and nothing is for sale.
Thank you for reminding us. Love it.
Nothing at all. And there is a call to action where you can get on the phone with me or a Zoom call for an hour. One more time, nothing is for sale. I have nothing for sale. So anyway, yeah, so I love when folks are looking just to get more exposure, and that's what it's about. It's like getting yourself in the yellow pages, right? Back in the day.
Back in the day. Love it.
Back in the day. So now it's, if anyone comes to Scott Ferguson and says, and they talk to you for the first time, and you have something that you solve a pain of theirs, they're going to do what? They're going to research you. And when they research you, after going through this kind of process with live video, they will not be able to not find you. They will find you everywhere.
Love that.
I coined a term called carpet bomb marketing, so saturate the marketplace with your message. And that's through the initial part of that entire process is through live video shows.
Love it, man. I love it. And then you have another giveaway, I believe, that has great access to things entrepreneurs, or even basic entrepreneurs, that really help them level up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I call it an entrepreneur discount house, and think of it like Costco or Sam's Club, but it's a free membership, and there aren't thousands of products. There's like 4 in there now.
Okay.
And so it's basically the number one in there that most people love is you can get what we're recording this on right now at a very, very, very small price for a 500-seat meeting, 500-seat webinar. It is the same service. I'm being careful. I'm not supposed to say this publicly, but you have to go to the actual club. It's free. ReachYourPeakClub.com is where you go. It's a free membership. Get in there. You'll see what I'm talking about. But you would normally pay upwards well, it's over $9,000 a month because it's minimum number of licenses to get the service that you'll get for $12.99. And I use it every single day. So it's the real deal. It's legit. The masterclass happens to be in there as well, which is free, of course.
Oh, really? Okay.
My go-to automation tool that I use for everything is the first thing I log into every day. Peak Connector, that's there. And a virtual VA agency is in there that I use that is certified in the CRM that I use. So they are a godsend. They do a lot of the back-end processes for myself and for my clients on their shows. So all of that, I put stuff in that I use personally and on a daily basis, and or I teach, which is the master class.
Sure.
And it's all, I'm very picky and selective. I don't know when I'll add more to it. I don't know if I'll add more to it, but it has to qualify.
It's a great resource, Squad. Another great resource he has is reachyourpeaklibrary.com. It's funny, I've went through here and I've read almost every single book that Brian's had on there. So if you want a really good refresher to help you level up, please also go to reachyourpeaklibrary.com. And everything is going to be in the show notes. There's going to be just a lack of a better term, a buttload of links down there for you to pick from to really level up. And Brian, do me a favor, leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Be authentic, be yourself in all cases. Live with the utmost character that you are capable of. Know that you're going to make mistakes and be okay with that and get over it and move on. But live with the intent to do good, to serve others, to love people, to give people a hug on the street. I'm like you, Scott. I'm a hugger. One arm, always very respectful. Yep. Yeah. Just put a smile on someone else's face and it will be reciprocated, but don't do it with that in mind. Don't give a smile to get a smile. Give one to hopefully change their state internally to something better than it was a moment ago.
Love it, Brian, and thank you so much. And Squad, we really had a free masterclass about leveling up your life and business on both sides here with my good friend Brian Kelly, who's a person that really wants to excel in his faith, his family, his self, and also help others excel. You know, he has an attitude of serving, and he's always really open to reciprocation. He doesn't do it with an expectation of getting stuff, but he just knows that that's the way the universe and God works. You know, he wants to remind you, especially if you come from an upbringing like Brian and I did, of maybe, you know, you went with a lack mindset. It's okay. It is okay to excel and succeed. And that money is a vehicle for liberation. It gives you choices. And he believes that instincts are built on experience. So the more that you're out there and learning, your instincts will get better. You know, Brian is known for some of the solid, stellar attention to detail and the highest quality. And if you're stuck in something, get help, or like my good friend Leah Woodford passed on to me, get your ass in gear. Seek help and accept acceptance, but also take action on that. You know, Brian is somebody that is going to slide across home plate, bumped and bruised, but knowing that he's planted those trees that he knows he'll never sit in the shade of, and he's helping people really level up. And if you're out there and you want to gain more exposure for your business or yourself, get involved with Brian's Carpet Bomb marketing. It's absolutely fantastic. You know, he has an entrepreneur discount house, which that is in our show notes. And he wants us to remind ourselves and always to be authentic, live with awesome character, and live with the intent to do good and serve. And that's exactly what my good friend Brian does. He levels up his health. He levels up his wealth. He's humble, yet he's hungry. He's earned his varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Thanks so much, Brian, for coming out. I legitimately love your guts, and I can't wait to collaborate with you more in the future.
Same here, Scott. Thanks so much. It's been an absolute blast. I appreciate you, brother.
Awesome, brother. Chat soon.